What's up, Nerdyverse? I'm Daddy Louie, and in this video, we are taking a look at a game called Valknut, so stick around. Before we get started, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe for more content and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Valknut is a game that was successfully funded on Kickstarter in April of this year, 2020, and it has now been delivered to backers and is available for purchase on the developer's website as well as some select retail locations. It is for 2 to 4 players. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to play and is for ages 12 and up. This game was actually inspired by a game called Nefatafel, which is an ancient Viking version of chess, basically. Valknut itself is an asymmetrical skirmish game with 9 unique warbands that play completely different from one another, a modular game board that changes every single time you play, and provides endless amounts of replayability. But is it good? Well, if you join me on the table, we'll check it out. Here is everything that I got in my copy of the game. These cards up here, these are for the little mini expansion that came inside of it. We're not really going to talk about that too much, but just know that this is another alternate variant option for you to play. There's lots of different variants in the rulebook, which is really cool. Like I said, the possibilities in gameplay here is pretty endless. These are all of our tokens that represent the different armies. Like I said, there's 9 different armies, and depending on which army you choose to play with, or warband you decide to play with, that will determine which of these little tokens you get. So there's like goblins and Viking ladies and brutal warriors and little dwarves and dragons and all kinds of just really cool stuff. So each player is going to pick a warband. You're going to get the tokens that belong to your warband, as well as their ambush card. And the ambush card just shows their really super cool art on one side, and then what they get to do on their ambush on the other side, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then you have your terrain cards, or your board cards. These are going to be dependent upon how many players you're playing with. So you've got 1 to 2 players here, and then when you get to 3 players, you throw in the 3s. When you get to 4 players, you throw in the 3s and 4s as well. And then this card here is the Bifrost, which also goes with a different mode of play. So let me go ahead and set up for a 2-player skirmish and show you how the game plays. Okay, so here we have set up for a 2-player game. We are playing Vikings versus Draugr. Now you can see here that the Vikings only have 4 available units, where the Draugr have 8. So at the beginning of the game, you get all of your units in your reserves, as well as your ambush card. Your ambush card can be used on your turn. Instead of placing one of the available terrain pieces, which I'll show you in a second, you can choose to use your ambush terrain. And it does different things, which I'll explain in a moment. So first thing that you do is you're going to take the top card after you've shuffled. Again, we're only using the 1 and 2 player cards here. And the object of the game is to clear all of your opponent's units off of the board. So if at any time you are the only player that has units still on the board, you win the game. The other way that you can win is when the last terrain card is played, and that turn is over with, and no more terrain cards can be played, you count your units that you have on the board. And each unit is worth a certain amount. Like the Vikings here are worth 3 each, whereas the Draugr are worth 2 each. And you count up your points. And if you have more points left on the board than your opponent, then you win. Those are the 2 ways of playing. So the first thing that you do is place a unit card or a terrain card out in the center, and then flip over the top 3 cards that can be chosen by the first player to place out later. So that's how setup is done. And now each player will assign units to the board, up to 4 units, but you have to place at least one. And it's going to be the first player that's going to place first. The player with the least maximum amount of units will be player one, and in this case, that will be the Vikings. So they'll go ahead and they will place down a unit. They're actually going to place 2 units because they're scared of all those Draugr. And then the Draugr will go ahead and he's going to place down 4 because he's got 8 available. Each unit has unique abilities. In this case, I'm not going to go over all of them, but in this case, the Vikings have the ability, they can only cross green areas. So in this case, they can only pass through these areas here. They wouldn't be able to pass through these 2 wooded areas. You can't pass through mountains, and you can't pass through water. Only the what they call the grasslands. There are some armies that can move through other things, but in this case, these 2 can only move through grasslands. Their special ability is that when they defeat an enemy piece, when they make a kill, they get to take an extra piece of terrain here, add it down, and then they get the added movement points, so that basically they can move again. They get an extra movement. The Draugr, when they kill an enemy, that enemy becomes a Draugr. Up to their maximum amount. If they have no more to place on the board because all 8 of their units are out, then they get an extra movement. So basically, we've got brutal guys who get to attack and then move more to attack again, and then we've got the Draugr who basically reincarnate into different things. So on your turn, the first thing you do is refill the pool up here back to 3. It starts at 3. Then you're going to select a terrain card in this battleground, gaining its movement points, and then adding it to the board. And then you're going to move. That's the game. So the other thing that you can do is, if you want to play your ambush card, which again is a one-time use, you basically discard one of these cards up here, and then instead place your ambush card wherever you see fit. So when placing a card, the ends must match up. So you can place long way and you can place short way. But you can't do any diagonals and you can't do any mismatches. So it has to be long to long, short to short. And then once you place, you get the movement of the card that you placed. So in this case, I think that for my Vikings over here, the thing that I want to do is I want to take this card here. I'm going to place it here, giving me, maybe I should actually place it up here. Placing it up here, which gives me 3 movement. And then I'm going to move 1, 2, 3. And the reason that I'm not keeping this guy here is because of killing, and I'll explain how that works in just a second once we get people a little moved around. In order to place new units from your reserves onto the table, you need to play a terrain piece that has a Valknut. That's this symbol right here. And you can move one of your characters from your reserves onto the board. But that's the end of my turn. I'm going to pass now because I've spent my movement and I didn't get any kills. So now the next player goes by refilling, and now he gets to do some cool stuff. So he's going to place, let's see, he'll place this. He'll place it here. And then he's going to move. He gets 3 movements as well. So he's going to move 1, 2, and then he's going to move 1. In order to make a kill, you need to surround the character or not surround, but you need to flank the character that you're trying to take out orthogonically. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. So instead of diagonally, you need to be able. So basically, I would need to get this guy here. The only other time that it works is if on the other side there's immovable terrain on the other side. So for example, if this guy was here, he would be able to take out this guy immediately because he's being flanked by a guy here and a immovable piece of terrain. Board edges do not count, so this would not count. But if he moves up here, that would count, if that kind of makes sense. So let's just keep going through turns so we can get to a part where there's a kill. So then this guy passes. He gets another piece of terrain here. Let's see. He can go... He'll take this one. No, he'll take this one. He'll place it there. It's going to give him one movement, and he gets to immediately bring a new player in here. And then he is going to... he's going to move this guy over one. Okay? And immediately at the end of my turn here, this guy dies because he was flanked by one of my players and a piece of terrain, immovable terrain, this wooded area. So he dies, goes back to his buddy's reserve there. And because of my special ability, I now get a new card, and I get the movement points from the new card. So I'm going to take this one. I'm going to put it down here. Let me move some of this stuff over so you guys can actually see. So I'm going to put this down here for 3 movement. And I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, which immediately kills this guy right here. Okay? Because he's in between, he's being flanked by impassable terrain. Now, I get to take another card because of my special ability. So you can see how this berserking rage works. But remember, these only refill at the start of the turn. So I can only do this one more time. This is basically the last time that I'm going to be able to do it. But I'm going to go ahead and do it over here. It lets me bring in one of my units there. And then I have one left, or one movement from this card. In which case, I could move here, but I'd lose my unit because I'd be surrounded by this. So instead, with the one, I'm going to... I'm actually going to move out of the way so I don't get surrounded. I might get surrounded anyway. I'll move up there. And that actually might not have been smart. I might not have wanted to do that. And then I'd pass to the next player, who would then refill this back up to 3. 1, 2, 3. And now they have some options. They could take a 3, which I think they will. They'll take the 3. They'll go 1. No, I can't do that. I'd have to go 1, 2. And then I would die from being... You can't lose your units on your turn. So if I go 1, 2, I don't die. I misspoke a minute ago when I said that I couldn't do that other move, because I can't lose my unit on my turn. At the end of my turn, I can. If I left it like that, my unit would die. But if I wanted to go 1, 2, let's say I had 4, I go 1, 2, then I could go 3, 4. It would take this guy out before he would get the chance to kill me, if that makes sense. But I only have 3 movement, so I can't even do that. 1, 2, 3. I could do that, which then I might lose. No, I won't. Watch this. Then I'll go 1, 2, 3. I immediately kill this guy, who becomes one of my guys. Nice. And that's the end of my turn. So now I've kind of done a... Oh, no, now... And then this guy dies. Look at that. Who then becomes one of my guys. That guy dies, becomes one of my guys. Haha. So you can kind of see how that works, right? It's really fun to... there's a lot of I gotcha elements in the game. And obviously many different strategies. We don't have time to go over every single character. I'll show you this here. If you want, you can pause the screen and take a look at it. These are the 9 characters that come in the game, and it shows you all of the different abilities that you get. But just know that, you flank an enemy by a unit adjacent to, orthogonally to your one of your guys. It kills it immediately. You can use mountains, rivers, and forests to flank as well. Just knowing how the movement works and how the different characters work, that's really the deepness of the game. The rules themselves are quite simple. What makes it so unique is the different way that each army plays and stuff like that. So anyway, that is everything that you need to know in order to play Valknut. Valknut is freaking awesome. I love asymmetrical games. I love skirmish games. I love the art of this game. It's just got so many layers of strategy to it. It's crazy. I'm not very good at it, though. I keep losing. I might need the developers to come give me some strategies. But it's great if you like fast games. It's great if you like skirmishes. It's great if you like multi-layered logic puzzles. All of that is really, really present here in this game. The fact that there's so many different game modes built into the rule book, which I didn't even go over, is also really, really cool. Like I said, the art is super fun. Yeah, it's just really great. I can't say enough great things about this game. The developer is awesome. He has a lot of other games coming out as well. You'll want to check all of that out. I'll leave links to everything in the description below. Like I said, you can go and purchase this on his website right now. Don't sleep on it. Pick this one up. Go and show him your love and your support. What do you guys think of Valknut? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you want to see more from the Circle of Nerds, you can find us over on our social media. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at Circle of Nerds. Also, don't forget that we have a podcast that comes out every week called The Cosmic Disaster Show. You can find that right here on YouTube or anywhere that you enjoy listening to podcasts. And for an extra bit of love and affection to us here at the Circle of Nerds, please consider checking us out over on Patreon at patreon.com/circleofnerds. Anyway, guys, that's all from me. I will see you in the next video.